So firstly, I want to just welcome you to NewFinance. We're going to have some speakers. We've got Jeroen, Risto, Pavlo, and Ian. Andrea, first presentation, Jeroen from InvoiceSharing.
Thank you very much. I'm Jeroen Volk from InvoiceSharing, the CEO. It's great to be here, and I hope to create a kind of an interactive atmosphere with you. InvoiceSharing, we enable companies to reduce cost of invoice processing and improve working capital and cash flow, which is two very popular topics. And we'll see how popular invoicing is for you, or how boring it is, by sharing free electronic invoicing. That's something that's never done before. Who is we? We is myself and Vincent Proy, who will be here, or can be here any minute. We are successful serial entrepreneurs, founded another B2B online ERP company 10 years ago, which is now battling with SAP and Oracle, spin off a bit, and there's a bunch of other people in Rotterdam. Let's go back to our frustration. Isn't it weird that after 20 years of talking about electronic invoicing, those paper things are still like everywhere? Who agrees with that? Can I see hands? It's kind of weird, right? There's so much innovation going on and still paper invoicing. But what about you when you find it so weird that it's still there? What about you? Who is actually sending invoices by mail pigeon? Any people here? The mailman, very popular. Nobody sending invoices here? That's good. It's very bad for revenues, I think. Nobody sending invoices here by mail? Post? By mail. PDF, very popular. That's probably the only one left. Any hands for that? Lots of people on the PDF invoicing. And who's really actually helping clients? Because with sending a PDF, you're not really helping your client, right? You just send over something that helps you. And then the client prints it out, as you probably do, and type it over, lots of processing. And actually connecting systems. Is there anybody here? Oh, there's one hand. That's one more than I was expecting, to be very honest. Is there anybody else that actually sends invoices to its clients in a format that they can import it into their own accounting system directly, so they don't need all those people doing the things that they did 100 years ago as well? No, that's one more than I was expecting, which is very, very, very good. How about sending invoices? Hopefully lots of you send invoices, otherwise, well, it's not so good for revenues, as I said. What's the health of your invoices? Everybody, all clients just perfectly pay in time? Basically, anybody having headaches once in a while? Cash not being there where it was supposed to be there? Or sleepless nights where the cash, the promised invoice to be paid wasn't paid? Any hands for that? Or nobody has any problem with cash flow here? I think, Louise, then we have a problem here. Nobody having problems with invoicing or with cash flow, basically? Or maybe a few hands. And this is basically one of the key questions. Do your clients pay on time? Who has clients who do not pay in time? Don't tell me that there are no hands. Must be, right? And how about you? Because that's very often the problem, right? I mean, you don't get paid in time, you don't pay in time yourself as well. Let's go to the poor people of accounts payable and accounts receivable. Are there any people, probably not so many in this crowd, anybody feels sorry with them that they're still doing the same thing for the last 100 years? And everything changed in the company, new systems for almost everything, and those poor people are still doing the same thing. Well, Risto, thank you very much that you feel sorry with them. There's not really a lot of people here that feel very sorry with them. Maybe something else. Let's try something else. Let's try the corporate responsibility thing and nature. Did you know that in the UK alone that there's 275 million invoices sent each year, equal to 1.3 million trees? Anybody sensitive for trees? Maybe not for accounts payable people, but maybe trees. There's much more support for trees. and 4.1 liters of clean water. Maybe water and CO2 are more popular than the people of accounts payable. It's huge, right? Maybe money. There's lots of people in the money industry here. So 5 billion pounds of savings when we stop sending paper invoices. Anybody interested in 5 billion or part of it? There's some people interested in money here. That was expected. Well, let's go back to where we believe in. You respond on nature, on trees, on CO2, not on the accounts payable people and a bit of money. We really believe that sharing makes companies successful. We don't believe in closed systems. We believe in a connected and an open world. We believe, so to say, that sharing is the new having. We've been tweeting it all week almost. People laugh about it, but get used to it in the meantime. We really believe by sharing, you can make any company successful. And that's basically our personal why. Why, basically, do we come out of our bed each day? Why do we do what we do? We want to solve something by opening up. Because, and with the hands, there were not that many hands, but you can do great things with electronic invoices. Anybody excited about invoicing here? Well, that's the same. I have one fan over there. But the invoicing thing is not really the most popular thing here. But you can do great things with it. I'll show you why. We developed this platform for 100% free electronic invoicing, because one of the reasons we believe that the paper things are still like everywhere is that it's so expensive. People don't want to pay for an electronic invoice, and PDF, by the way, is not an electronic invoice. It's electronic paper. So we built this free platform, which was never done before because cost was an important driver not to use it. It's audited by Ernst & Young, or EY these days, and it can help you lower your cost dramatically. We do have multiple examples of companies reducing their accounts payable department, those poor people at accounts payable, and reduce the department by 75% in just 6 months by automating the accounts payable process. You can improve your cash flow. I think Louise of Platform Black is a good example of that, but there's a few other good examples of that. Invoice financing is very, very popular. Almost every day there's an article or news about invoice financing. We basically build a marketplace around our invoices where you as a sender of invoices can basically pick and choose the providers that best fit to you. When you're a small company, you maybe want to maybe cannot be financed by one party, but maybe by another party. So on this marketplace, we not only connect the big banks, but also the smaller ones. So for you as a sender of invoices, we can help you finance the invoice. Also as a small company. Anybody here applied for a loan last years at one of the banks? Well, there's banks here as well, so should be very careful what I'm going to say now. Anybody familiar with the process of applying, for a line of credit at a bank? Send in a lot of information, and the answer is usually no. I see some people here that there's some recognition here. Well, as a small company, that probably happens more often than when you're a big company. But when you're a small company sending an invoice to a big company or to the City of London, for example, which is quite credible, there should be ways to finance this for you. And that's basically what we come in with partners. We don't do the financing ourselves. It's all partners. And you can actually increase revenues with e-invoicing. Isn't that exciting? No, it's not. What's going on? Not too many people here excited about increasing your revenues with e-invoicing. Actually, we created an app where salespeople are now on top of what's happening at their clients. Your phone gives a notification when your biggest clients buy more products than average, and you can just give a call or drop an email or whatever you want to do. So basically build better relationships. Gartner says B2B is dead. It's all about people to people these days. That's where an invoice can help you as well. Not when the thing is on paper, obviously, but when it's electronic. On our marketplace, we offer all those tools of others, better of the different parties. When everything is free, usually the first question is, well, how do you make money? And the core is free. It's really free sending of invoices, receiving of invoices, validating of invoices according to law. The guys of Ernst & Young sign off for this. And then we have the subscriptions for companies that want to reduce the number of people at accounts payable, those poor people that nobody really cares about. And then we have this marketplace of products from others that we sell, where there's a kind of iTunes store of reporting tools, invoice financing tools, pay me now buttons in invoices, all kinds of things you can build around invoices, and there's a kind of a iTunes store royalty for that. The sales model is also different than usual. It's completely indirect. And it starts with the accounting software companies. We're connected to Sage, we're connected to Xero, which is the small ones. In the Netherlands, we are connected to the bigger ones. And I do have a video of one of our fans named KPMG who built a specific connector for Oracle and SAP systems. Those guys really have a problem, and I know there won't be any persons here in the accounting software industry probably, but those guys have a problem because they have a product that has been the same for the last 100 years as well. It's very hard to differentiate. By connecting to us, their product becomes richer, the clients become happier. Receivers of invoices start to invite senders. There's actually globally only 2 connections with Dell sending invoices. One of them is with us. Why? We are open, so suddenly Dell is connected with the world. And it was for free, which is also a unique selling point for Dell. So those big suppliers are invited by senders, connected to the platform, and while connected to the platform, they don't have to connect to anybody else. And when you have invoice volume, we have service partners like the ones in the iTunes store I mentioned to sell products. Oh, that's the one too quick. Maybe the market. There's 135 billion invoices still there to come. Well, there's the 135 billion around, of which only 11% is electronic. So I think it's time that we stop talking about changing, but start to do something. The expected growth rate of 35% makes it that the market is really growing quickly. There's literally no board I talk to that is not talking about electronic invoicing. Not that they really like invoices, like you are. You're not in the invoicing excitement area, but you really want to reduce your cost and improve your cash flow. And this is a big question to you guys. We are here as a startup company in the Startup Bootcamp program, the Startup Bootcamp FinTech program next to Tower Bridge. For a month right now, it's really good fun here in London and lots of good things going on. One of our goals is to build relationships with banks to see whether we can distribute the software via banks, which is actually going very well. We're in very good discussions about white labeling the software. Those banks do have all the clients, so why not use our platform? And one of our other goals is to get some market traction in the UK. So we are desperately seeking for CFOs who dare to reduce their cost on accounts payable, for example, and improve working capital and cash flow. Please come to us. Please queue in lines of 2 maybe. And then my colleague who is now in the back will like to talk with you about how we can help you. You're really looking for some first customers. Whatever we did in the Netherlands on a very successful scale, up to companies of 10,000 employees, starting from small up to 10,000 employees. So we do have a very good track record in that. But we're really desperately seeking to look at some CFOs that dare to make a difference. So when you see yourself in this picture, please come to me or to Vincent after the presentation. That was about it.
Okay.
Eddie, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Not so much invoice fans here.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Jeroen?
I don't think I have a question, but I think I have a statement, which is that if you do a presentation to the audience and they think it's really boring and that kind of stuff, it's probably a great business, because the sort of sexy things don't really sell, but the boring things, you don't have much competition.
Well, somebody has to do it, right? Hi.
Hi, how are you doing? I just wanted to ask that there are many, e-invoicing has been going on for a decade and a half.
True.
And the adoption levels have been terrible. And that's partly because of the quality of the technology. How are you different?
I agree that it's terrible, the adoption, and that's also one of the things why I think the existing providers miserably failed.
Yeah.
I think it's for multiple reasons, at least that's what our client tell us. It's one of them is indeed technology. And the second one is the processes around the technology. Those, that we all know, then the Ballswares, the Tungstens, and so on of this world, don't have the processes to make it an efficient process because it's so expensive, so very ridiculously expensive, that it doesn't matter that it takes lots of time because you get paid for it anyway. So it's very costly. It has to be costly because the technology is rubbish, basically. We build a new platform, which is, we are building online platforms for 10 years now. So we build a new platform which is very efficient. There's no human interactions. Everything is automated. And that makes a difference in the processes and as a result in the cost. Using open source technologies also helps in cost. And the whole thing is audited by Ernst & Young, which was a very important thing for us and for any company, I think, any CFO, but also for Dell and Office Depot to trust us, what we are doing. So it's a lot of controls where the EU laws has all kinds of things that you have to comply with, not only the invoice laws, but also the compliance laws. Everything is in there. I think that makes a difference. We are, the companies we talk to don't want to pay for it, that's one thing. Which is weird, right? Because now they pay for a stamp. But the PDF is for free, that's where you're compared with, so it had to be free. That was one huge adoption, a real game changer for Office Depot and Dell and others to work with us. So free and the openness. For Dell, those two things, Dell, nobody pushes Dell to do anything. They just listen to nobody. But the two reasons were openness, connect to anybody, and free. And that are the real game changers where the others in the industry build closed systems where you have to become member of their closed community, which is expensive, but they hopefully take care of you. And well, we also connect to those platforms.
And the second question, if I'm allowed one, thank you, is around the news this week around Arrowgrass and Bassware. Because one of the issues that Bassware has is they're expensive because of all of the reasons you set out. So they need another revenue stream, and they're moving into what they're very quaintly calling factoring, with the support of Arrowgrass's money. And I just wondered if you had some comment on that.
Obviously, we've seen that as well. They were the last ones. It was expected. Tungsten OB10 has it. Tradeshift has something in the press. We don't see very much about it. I think it's also the same thing. They try to push whatever they have with this one financing vehicle to all their clients, which is not going to work because any financing company, any financing vehicle has a different target audience. So people don't want to be pushed, want to select, want to be free, want to do whatever they feel most comfortable with, and that's why we feel with the open marketplace that we have that we can serve everybody best. Thanks.
Jeroen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Brilliant.